The term node is important in Drupal development. If you come from a background of software development, the phrase "a node is an instance of a content type" might be helpful to you. It's just an analogy, but what this implies is that a node is the specific data being rendered as output based on some external definition. That definition is what we call a content type. A content type says what fields should be available for a piece of content and how are they going to display. Drupal installs with two default content types, an article and a basic page. You could find the definitions for these content types on the Structure menu on the Content Types page. Article and basic page are here, but you'd also find you could add additional content types. The whole process of designing and implementing new content types plays a major role in Drupal development, and we'll be looking at that more throughout the course. To create an actual node of content, you would go to the Content screen and choose the content type to add. You could reach this screen through the Content menu or through the Add Content shortcut, and you would see whatever content types are available for your particular account to create. You would then populate the fields and settings. How the form appears would be based on the theme in use and other choices that you would make as part of the design layer of Drupal, but you could assume that there would always be at least a title for the content. The rest of the fields will depend on what you have implemented and what modules are available. Now, if the particular item were, for example, a basic page, you could link it to a menu. We've introduced the notion of menus as one of Drupal's core structural entities, along with blocks, content types, and taxonomy. Links can be added and edited and rearranged for any menu, and a given item of content will have a URL. So you could go to, for example, the main menu and add that new item as a link to the menu. Let's go out and take a look at this. In my site, first off, I want to create a new item of content. Again, I could go to Content and Add Content, or just use my Add Content shortcut. I want to create a new basic page, and I'm going to give it a title of About Us. And then for the body of the page, to keep things simple here, I'm going to use some lorem ipsum text. Later on, we'll see that Drupal has a module available to automatically generate content nodes with lorem ipsum text for us, but we'll get back to that. Now, you'd find a number of settings here that we'll talk over in more detail later, but you would see that I could link it to a menu right here. I could control whether or not it's a new revision, log information, whether this is a new revision, control its specific URL path, although we'll see there is a default for that, control whether commenting is available, control the authoring information, and control whether it's published immediately, whether it may be promoted to the front page, whether it's sticky, and other features, again, we'll go into more later. For now, I'm just going to save this new item of content, and it gets displayed for me by Drupal. If I went and looked, I'd see that the URL is my site name /content/about-us, based on the page title. Now, those URLs are configurable. We'll look at that later. For now, I want to add this page into my site. I'm going to go ahead and copy this URL and then go to Structure, Menus. I'll find my main menu and add a link. I'm going to title my link About Us, and I'll paste in the path. However, when I'm setting a menu path, I don't need to put in the name of my site. That's assumed, nor would I put in any preceding /. It should just be content/about us. For a description, I'll go ahead and put in the name About Us for screen reading software. I do want it to be enabled. I want the parent link to be the main menu itself, not any other menu item. I'm not creating a submenu here. And we'll talk about weight in just a moment. I'm going to click Save, and I'll save my configuration here. Go out to the main page of the site, and in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see we now have a link to our About Us page. This is where they display in the Garland theme. Now, I actually want About Us to be on the other side of Home. Easily done. I'm going to go to Structure, Menus, and from my main menu, List My Links. Anytime I see a list of items like this in Drupal, in the 7 theme, I can click and drag the items between one another. On this particular list, the items to the top display furthest to the left in a menu. I could also click Show Row Weights up here, and you'd find that every menu item has a weight from -50 to +50, controlling where they would position relative to one another. But it's just as easy to drag and drop. I'll go ahead and save my configuration, go back to the main page of the site, and to get a better view, I'll log out, and we'll see now on my main page, I have About Us to the left of Home. And of course, I could click through to it and see my About Us page.